Hello YouTube, this is Cover 2 Credits, and today looks like we're going to rock some book reviews. Sarah didn't see a movie this week, so it falls to me to give you your weekly dose of reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing Life Reset by Shemer Kuznits, and I was pretty excited when I saw this book because Russians do lit RPG the best. And I saw this one, thought I'd check it out, and I wouldn't say pleasantly surprised exactly, but it was a fun read. Premise of this story is that the main character has been playing this game for 5 years or so, quit his old crappy job, started playing full time, and because of the way the game does skills, the first player to invent a skill gets a prime badge, which lets them teach the skill to others, level it faster, and they basically have ownership of the skill. Unless a player sort of discovers the same skill in the same way, other players can't learn skills, besides maybe the basic ones, but basically he has this really awesome skill that he made because of his meditation and wanting to invent a spell. And he created an entire school of magic. And he basically sells the teaching of the spells. And he has made mountains of money in game. And he runs this whole empire, and he's king of the world in this guild. Anyway, so his underling backstabs him, takes over the guild, and uses this scroll of reset on him. It's a bugged game item. It turns his character into a random monster race and resets him to level 1. He loses all of his gear, loses all of his everything. Right? And here is where the problems start for the main character. Now, obviously, it's a lit RPG novel, so the character ends up stuck in a video game. That's pretty common. What's different is, in this game, he gets stuck as a mob instead of a player, and because of that, mobs don't have logout options, they don't have interface options, they don't really have any of that. So he's sort of stuck as this crappy goblin, but because of loopholes and things, he's able to play. Now, the main storyline of this game is he's trying to get himself back out, as with most lit RPGs, but the way to do so is, because of the way the mechanics work, only the higher tier bosses are managed by the actual developers. The rest of it's just all done in swaths by the giant super AI, right? So he has to level himself up to be this certain tier of boss in order to be able to get out of the game. And it goes through this whole thing to where the game company is trying to weasel him into this position because they don't want to deal with the lawsuits and everything because his player is now stuck in a game. The player is obviously trying to get his boss rank up and having to deal with all these problems of trying to be in the game with only half his abilities working and other things. And the third major storyline is about Vic, who is a AI shard. He's not the whole AI, but he's like a tiny piece of the AI with his own independent personality. It's a whole thing, but anyway, Vic has his own goal, the main character has his own goal, and the company has their own goals, and it's these interactions between them that sort of add interest to the story. Personally, there's a lot of kingdom building. That's pretty cool. He meets these two other characters, which I didn't understand at all because there wasn't really any reason for them. As part of his basically, he promises not to sue the company if they meet certain conditions for him, and one of those conditions is they have to enter players, they have to make other monster players for him to play with, but he doesn't make any of his friends do it, and instead he just picks two random people and then spends the rest of the book ignoring them, and they sort of seem to have their own storyline, so I didn't understand that part, but overall, it's a cool book. The game is cool. The world building's cool. My main problem is, one, obviously, it's been done. He uses basically the same tropes you see in most lit RPGs, which I like lit RPG tropes, so that's not a huge problem, but there's not a ton of originality in there. He takes old ideas and puts new sorts of spins on them, but you don't really get anything new or exciting. Second problem is, like I said, there's side characters and side stories going on that never get explained. I'm assuming they will get explained in later books, but for the most part, they're sort of just swept under the rug in book one. They're part of the story, but not really a major part of the story, and to me, that's sort of a problem, because you shouldn't put things in stories if you're not going to explain them. But like I said, maybe those are build-ups for later books. So, overall, I'm going to rate this book probably a 7. I don't think it quite deserves an 8, like I said. It's well written, he does a good job with the characters and character interactions, but it's basically the same old story with a slightly new twist, as well as there's a lot of things in the book that he just sort of leaves hanging. And I don't know. He goes into odd detail in places and then he ignores other places, which I think need more detail. So, like I said, it's a good book if you're wanting to pass an afternoon. If you like lit RPGs, by all means pick this book up. It's excellent. Again, it's called Life Reset by Shemer Kuznits, and it's a solid story, but it's not anything new or exciting or revolutionary, and it's not a masterpiece. You know, it's not as gripping as Way of the Shaman or some of the really good lit RPGs, but it is a solid entry into the lit RPG universe. So, like I said, I'm going to give it a 7. That's going to do it for me. We'll get out of here. And remember to like us on Facebook, check out our YouTube videos. Stair has a Twitter and all that sort of computer goodness, social media-ness. Favorite us if you like us, check out our vids, and until next time, thanks for staying till after the credits.